Om me manasi pratishthitam mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirma edhi vedasyama anistha shrutam me ma prahasi anenadhitena horatran samdadhami ritam vadishyami satyam vadishyami tanmamavatu tadvaktaramavatu avatu mam avatu vaktaram avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Here we have 569 Uruchakri Atreya, new name, which can be translated as making vastness, creating vastness Rishi. So there are only 4 Anushtups, very short hymn, but very loaded with meaning. Tri Rojana Varuna, Trin Utadyun, Trini Mitra, Dharayatho, Rajansi, Vavridhanao, Amatim, Kshatriyasya, Anuvratam, Rakshamanao, Ajuryam. Let's look into what Sri Aurobindo says about this hymn. The holders of the luminous worlds. Rishi invokes Mitra and Varuna as the upholders of the worlds or planes of being, especially the 3 luminous worlds in which the triple mental, the triple vital, and the triple physical find the light of their truth and the divine law of their powers. So what could be that triple world, in which all these triple worlds, triple mental, vital, and physical, find their truth and divine law of their powers? The strength of the Aryan warrior is increased by them and guarded in that imperishable law. From the luminous worlds the rivers of the truth descend with their yield of bliss. In each of them a luminous Purusha fertilizes a form of the triple thought consciousness of the truth. These, which make the luminous day of the soul, found in man the divine and infinite consciousness, and in that the divine peace and the activity by which, in the extended universality of our being, there is the rich felicity and the creation of the Godhead. The divine workings are impaired and restricted by the gods in the ordinary life of the vital and physical being, but when Mitra and Varuna uphold in us the luminous worlds in which each of these finds its truth and power, they become complete and firm forever. It is actually the vision of how the greater, higher powers of consciousness can pervade this universal being in the vital and physical levels of consciousness and settle there. And you can see and guide them and frame them in the divine manner. Yes. So it is something which is allowing the higher forces to come down and to manage our outer life of our physical and vital nature. Trirochana Varuna Trin Utadyun Trini Mitra Dharayatho Rajansi Vavridhanao Amatim Kshatriyasya Anu Vratam Rakshamanao Ajuriyam. 3 worlds of the light you too uphold, O Varuna, 3 heavens, 3 mid-worlds, O Mitra, and you increase the might of the warrior and guard him in the imperishable law of your working. Now this triplicity of the worlds, here, I wrote the whole article once long ago, 2000 something, and forgot 6 on this. I will send you the article with related to these triple worlds. It was published long ago. So the 3 luminous worlds, or 3 shining ones, Trirochana, from Rutruch to shine, are the 3 levels of Svar. The Svar world, as you know, the world of the rays of the sun, or the overmental realm. So overmental realms have 3 levels also. Yes, there is, as Shobinda describes them, the supramental overmind, overmind proper, and intuition. This is the triple svar, the trirochana. So Shobinda translated this word elsewhere as 3 powers of light uphold 3 luminous worlds divine. Tri Aryama Manusha Devatata Trirochana Divya Dharayanta. This is from this famous hymn where the supermind, triple supermind, is mentioned, 529, first verse to Indra, actually, this hymn. Where the 3 powers of light are the triple status of the supermind upholding the 3 luminous worlds of Svar, Trirochana. Here also they are mentioned in the 3 heavens, Trim Uta Dyun, Dyavas. So, or Trin Dyun is the accusative plural, which Varuna and Mitra support the Harayat Hach, as well as the 3 spaces of midworlds, Trini Rajansi. And notice all these words, Rochana, 3 Rochana of the overmind, are from Rutruch to shine. Tisro Diavach, 3 heavens, is from Ruddiv to shine. And Trini Rajansi is also from Rutraj to shine. Three shining vital realms. So Trini Rajansi, 3 shining vital realms. The Tisro Diavach, 3 luminous heavens, are 3 mental realms, and Trini Rajansi, or 3 Rochana, are 3 luminous realms of the overmind. And all of them have this idea of shining. But interestingly, how the words are used, yes? Ruch is that higher light. Div is this mental light from which Deva is produced, divine is produced from this. Yeah? In general, Diauch, the heaven, it means everything above us. Yes, and Trini Rajansi, 3 flaming realms of the vital, are the vital, passionate realms, energetic energy. So Rajas from here. So the 3 worlds of the supermind are projected into 3 heavens of our mentality and 3 spaces of our vitality. And in between there will be overmind, Trini Rochana, 3 Rochana. And all of them are supported by Mitra and Varuna. It is as if they penetrated through from the beyond, influencing them with their presence, consciousness, and power. That's exactly what we read in the introduction, how they slowly take possession of these worlds, of our mental, vital, and physical realms. Let us compare with the passage of Rig Veda 2:27, 8 and 9. This is the hymn to Adityas by Gritsamada Bhargava. He mentions the same story here. Tisro bhumi dharayan trim uta dyun trini vrata vidathe antar esham ritena aditya mahivo mahitvam tad aryama varuna mitra charu. So they, Aditya, support the three earths, the three heavens. The three are the laws within the sacrificial gathering, that is the inside Antariksha, Trini Rajansi, sorry. By the truth, the sons of infinity have their greatness great, and that is beautiful, O Aryaman, Varuna, and Mitra. Again, reference to Aryaman, Varuna, and Mitra, Varuna, Mitra, Aryaman, because they support our triple worlds, 3 times 3. So here, this simplistic scheme, supermind is triple, as we know from Sri Aurobindo. Unity, many in one, and one in many in many. That's what we. There are 3 Adityas. There's Daksha, Amsha, and Surya, and that is the triple supermind, which is when projecting its rays into the darkness creates Svar world, the world of the rays of the sun. These are 3 Rochana, 3 luminous realms are here. So from the triple supermind, 3 Rochanas are manifested in the same way, in the same framework. The highest is the unifying overmind, the supramental overmind. The middle is diversifying overmind proper. Mother describes this as many-colored. All the colors of the rainbow are there in the overmind. And then finally, intuition, which is focusing particular action of that light, of that lightning of Indra into the lower hemisphere. So, and this triple overmind is holding within itself these 3 times 3 worlds. Yes? This is triple physical, triple vital, and triple mental, or Tisro Bhumi, 3 earths, as it is mentioned in the hymn, Trini Rajansi, 3 luminous realms of the vital, and Tisro Diyavach, 3 heavens of the mind. This is the language which Vedic rishis used, and now we are kind of putting our own language onto it, yes? Which actually Mother brought this from her occultism, from occult studies of the Chaldean tradition, yes, of Kabbalah. And Sri Aurobindo adopted this language. This language is not used in the Vedas, and it is not used anywhere else, this triple mind. Yeah? So what we have? We have mental mind, vital mind, and physical mind. We have mental vital, vital vital, proper vital, and physical vital, 3 vitals. And we have 3 physicals, mental physical, vital physical, and physical physical. And these are the centers in our being. Basically, you can see our head is the triple mind. Interesting. Yeah? We have Sahasrara Chakra, Ajna, and Vishuddha. Sahasrara is mental mind, open to the above. Yeah? Vital mind, the dynamic mind, is Ajna Chakra. And mind which is expressing itself, it's in physical terms, physical mind, is our Vishuddha Chakra, where the thoughts are being expressed and formulated and spoken center, speaking center. Then we have our torso. We have mental vital, which is the refined vital, or the emotions, or the Anahata Chakra. We have vital, which is the most central for the vitality of all those, movements of egoism and assertion and fears and all that. The dynamism of the feelings, that is the Manipura chakra. And then we have the physical vital, where all the 72,000 nadis go into the physical world. There's Swadhisthana chakra. So three on the torso, three in the head. Just look how beautiful it is designed. It's really designed in that way. And we have three chakras below. The highest chakra, mental, physical, is our Muladhara chakra, which is opening something to the below where the hidden powers are in the physical. And the vital physical, Mother speaks about these two lower chakras. We do not find them in the Tantra or elsewhere, only in the Veda. Three earths are mentioned. It is on the level of the knees, she says, there is a chakra, and there is a level on the below the feet, physical. Yeah? So there is a center there which holds the physical as such. Yeah, below the feet, in the center of the knees. Knees are very important for physical vitality, yes, or vital physicality. When we fall kind of down from the knees. It is on the level of the knees that all our weaknesses, when we age, kind of reflected, that we lose that vital physicality or physical vitality, let us say that way. So this is an amazing scheme. Look, there are 9 of these, and there are 3 more above the head. Above the Sahasrara chakra, there is the intuition, there is overmind, and there is the supramental overmind, and they are all here, so to say, acting upon our Sahasrara chakra, and that what we feel when there is a force descending into our head from above, into our Sahasrara chakra, especially when it is open, you feel that influence of intuition coming from overmind, which is actually the reflection of the triple supermind, of course. Now you have it. Yeah? You have these 3 times 3 and 3 plus 12 chakras. And amazingly, Mother speaks about these 12 chakras. Exactly these. 12 of them. Not 7, not 6. Yeah? 2 below the Muladhara and 3 above Sahasrara. This is the Vedic vision. And moreover, we find these Navagva and Dashagva rishis. Navagva rishis are those who realized all these 9, 3 times 3. So they came and opened the Sahasrara. Yeah? But then there has to be breaking through to the beyond, to the Svar world. And that breaking through to the Svar world is not so easy, it seems. To open Sahasrara, that influence from above should come. Vajra of Indra should break the ceiling. We have the ceiling here somewhere. It is not open. Our head is not open to receive higher light. So that breaking from above is taking place. Indra comes with his lightning of intuition and opens our highest mental mind to the overmind, to the intuition and overmind, and through them to the supermind. These are intermediaries. Overmind is that transcendental to the transcendental supermind, but in between there is one transcendence which we have to cross. It is an obstacle to the supermind, and because it modifies the supramental light, and it is the way, the connection to the supermind, without which we cannot realize the supermind. This is something interesting, because when the Svar world disappeared in the post-Vedic tradition, and it disappeared, it had no meaning anymore. The gods lost their powers, so to say, and there was orientation to jump over the supermind to the transcendental Satchitananda. And so because of this interlink disappeared, the supermind disappeared altogether. Nobody even speaks of supermind anymore. And supermind is that dynamic force which transforms our life. Without supermind, transformation of our life is impossible. So here we have the whole issue of integral yoga, Veda, why Sri Aurobindo found so much confirmation in the Veda for himself. Because this is his system, actually. And I will read to you from the Life Divine. There is a whole passage where he explains these things. So the next passage is 227 from the same great Samadha Rishi. Tri rochana divya dharayanta hiranyayah suchayah dharaputah, with purified streams. Ashvapnajo animisha adabdha Asvapnajo animisha adabdha urushamsa rejave martiyaya. They support also the three luminous heavenly worlds, being golden and bright, having pure streams of immortalizing soma. They do not sleep, do not close their eyelids unhurt, pointing to the vastness of the word for the sincere mortal. This is Sri Aurobindo's translation. So here we have them. Trirochana Divya Dharayanta, three luminous realms of the Svar, Trinuta the three luminous realms of the mind, Trini Vrata Vidathe Antaresham, or Trini Rajansi, three sacrificial actions of the vital, the sacrifice is taking place there, at Tisro Bhumich Dharayan, having three earths of the physical world they hold. So this is what I wanted to split. I already explained all this. And now let us read what Sri Aurobindo says on this. If we accept the Vedic image of the Sun of Truth, says Sri Aurobindo in the Life Divine, an image which in this experience becomes a reality, we may compare the action of the higher mind to the composed and steady sunshine, the energy of the illumined mind beyond it, to an outpouring of massive lightnings of flaming sun stuff. Still beyond can be met a yet greater power of the truth force, an intimate and exact truth vision, truth thought, truth sense, truth feeling, truth action, to which we can give in a special sense a name of intuition. Interesting. Truth vision, truth thought, truth sense, truth feeling, truth action in the name of intuition. So intuition is not only knowing, it's also truly acting, also intuition. Yeah? Truly feeling, also intuition. For though we have applied that word for want of a better to any supra-intellectual direct way of knowing, yet what we actually know as intuition is only one special movement of self-existent knowledge. This new range is its origin. It imparts to our intuitions something of its own distinct character and is very clearly an intermediary of a greater truth light with which our mind cannot directly communicate. That's why we have intuition. We cannot actually enter into the overmind. Intuition is leaping down to us to bring that overmental presence. At the source of this intuition, we discover a superconscient cosmic mind in direct contact with the supramental truth consciousness. So this cosmic mind is overmind, yes? An original intensity determinant of all movements below it and all mental energies. Not mind as we know it, but an overmind that converts as with the wide wings of some creative oversoul. There is oversoul. There is the whole canto of the oversoul in the book too. and overmind. We will read these passages from Savitri. This as if with wide wings of some creative oversouls, this whole lower hemisphere of knowledge ignorance links it with that greater truth consciousness, while yet at the same time, with its brilliant golden lid, it veils the face of the greater truth from our sight. It becomes a lid which has to be broken. Mother broke it. Intervening with its flood of infinite possibilities as at once an obstacle and a passage in our seeking of the spiritual law of our existence, its highest aim, its secret reality. So it is preventing us to reach it, and it is also the passage through which we have to reach it. It is modifying the higher light to be more acceptable by our lower being, because we will not be able to receive supramental light. It will crush us, and destroy everything. So it needs filtering. It's a filter in a way. Passage which is modifying, distilling those energies and knowledge and light to the more acceptable level. And the illumined mind is the highest Sahasrara chakra, is full of these floods of lightnings, yes? And then we filter it through higher mind, we are conceptualizing it, yeah? We start to think about it, and then we receive it in our mind proper, finally. So this, then, is the occult link we are looking for. This is the power that at once connects and divides the supreme knowledge and the cosmic ignorance. Following this vision to the three luminous realms, Trirochana, we can see as those coming from the supermind to overmind and intuitive mind as three distinct higher realms of true light, whereas the three heavens, Diyavach, Tisro Diyavach, three heavens, which follow them as illumined mind, higher mind, and mind, physical mind, proper, by which we operate here in the physical body, which represent the three higher realms of the lower hemisphere. So this is so much around this simple verse, which is not simple at all, because it mentions three luminous realms of the overmind, three mental luminous realms of the mind, and Trini Rajansi, three vital realms. It doesn't mention that the Tisro Bhumich, three Bhumis, but that doesn't matter for us, yes, because it is implied, but anyhow. But in other passages, Tisro Bhumis are mentioned also. So that's why I had to quote from those passages. This is the major scheme. Notice the triple supermind is perfectly manifested as holographically in Swar world, unifying, diversifying, diversified. Mind is unifying, vital, diversifying, physical, diversified. Yes? Within the mind, mental mind unifying, vital mind diversifying, physical mind diversified, totally. The same in the vital, mental vital, unifying vital, vital vital, beating one in many, many in one, shaping the every form, and finally physical vital, a unique, energy entering into unique need. And the same with physical. Mental physical is something like a framework or the concept of the physicality. Vital physicality is diversifying it, making it unique. And physical is absolutely unique. And we spoke about this not once, that everything in this physical world has no replica. It's all unique. Yeah, there is no same fingerprint, there is no same pebble on the shore, there is no same leaf in the forest. You will not find same leaf on the trees. Everyone is different. Every pebble on the shore is different. Everything is uniquely, infinitely different. This is the physical physicality, which means that this physical diversified totally is this coming from the supermind, where it is prepared as many. Now it is finally embodied in the substance as many, infinite many. So you can see that this scheme totally justifies the supermind. Yeah, because without supermind is present throughout these. These are the outcomes of the supramental activity. Unifying, diversifying, diversified on all the levels until it is becoming totally uniquely manifesting in the physical body of the pebble on the shore. Or in That's why we have all unique voices, unique looks, unique beings. The same matter cannot occupy the same space. The moment there is another space and time, it's a uniquely manifested thing. Individuality finally is achieved. These passages from Life Divine are very helpful because they describe exactly the process. So I will take one more verse. Iravati Varuna Dhenavo Vam Madhumat Vam Sindhavo Mitra Duhre Trayastasthukh Vrishabhasach Tisrinam Deshananam Retodha Vi Diumantach. You fostering cows have their streams. Your fostering cows have their streams, O Varuna, O Mitra. The rivers milk out their honeyed yield. What an image. The rivers milk out their honeyed yield. These are Dhenavas. These are the fostering streams or cows. There stand wide 3 luminous bulls and cast their seed into the 3 thoughts. Now there are footnotes: fostering cows, Dehenavach, the rivers of the truth, as Gavach, the luminous calf, as the rays of its light, and for the bull, 3 bulls. The bull is the Purusha, soul or conscious being. The cow is the Prakriti, the power of consciousness. The creation of the Godhead, the Son, comes by the fertilizing of the triple luminous consciousness, by the triple luminous soul of the truth being, so that that higher consciousness becomes active, creative, and fruitful in man. This is exactly what he speaks in the first explanation, how it becomes. So this conception by the triple Purusha in Prakriti, that triplicity is being conceived. And she carries on. The creation of the Godhead, the Son, comes by the fertilizing of the triple luminous consciousness, by the triple luminous soul of the truth being, so that that higher consciousness becomes active, creative, and fruitful in man. So the fostering streams of you two, Varuna and Mitra, are of the honeyed milk streaming in rivers. The 3 bulls stood shining, casting their seed into 3 thoughts of the cow. And from this conception, the streams of honey fostered the creation. What is interesting in this passage is that there are again the 3 bulls casting their seed into the 3 cows who produce the world. In the Gita, Sri Krishna says in simply a way, this world is my Brahma, Samam Brahma is my yoni, he says. Yoni is the location into which I cast the seed from which all the beings come into being. Yeah? So here is triple bull and triple cow. Because the creation is triple, the supermind is triple, triplicity has to be mentioned somehow. To understand better these three bulls conceiving three cows, and then the three Rojana, one has to read the chapter in the Life Divine called The Triple Status of the Supermind. Sri Aurobindo writes about these three levels. The first founds the inalienable unity of things. The second modifies that unity so as to support the manifestation of the many in one and one in many. And the third further modifies it so as to support the evolution of diversified individuality, which, by the action of ignorance, becomes in us, at a lower level, the illusion of the separate ego. In one sentence, the whole vision of creation, integral yoga, and the Veda. There is a longer passages here, which you will read. I just made the, what do you call it, the appendix there of those passages we have to study to understand this hymn and other hymns mentioning these triple worlds. Maybe I will take one more. Pratar Devim, Aditim Johavimi, Madhyam Dina Udita Suryasya, Raye Mitra Varuna Sarvatata Iletokaya Tanayaya Shamyo. In the dawn I call to the Divine Mother Infinite. What a sentence. In the dawn I call to the Divine Mother Infinite. In the midday and at the rising of the sun, I desire of Mitra and Varuna the peace and the movement in the forming of the all, for felicity and for the creation and the begetting. In the dawn I call, there are footnotes here, let me read 4 and 5, of all. The action of the sacrifice consists in the formation or extension of the universal being, Sarvatati, and the divine being, Devatati. These are the two words, Devatati and Sarvatati, which are constantly mentioned in the hymns, and very difficult to translate. Nobody translates it right, only Sri Aurobindo. The extension of the universal being of all and of the gods, of the divine in us. And of the Son. Wait a minute. Begetting, yes, the Son, number 5. Of the Son, the Godhead created within the humanity. This is the Son. The Son of God is the Godhead, is the Father. I and my Father are one. It is Him. Yep. In the dawn I call constantly to the Divine Mother Aditi, and in the midday and in the rising of the sun, for the shining wealth for all, I seek her with adoration, O Mitra and Varuna, for peace and for protection, and the birth of her Son, of the divine in man. It is a culmination and the meaning of this creation, the birth of the Son of Aditi, the supreme in the material body of man. That's why Tokaya Tanayaya Shamyoh, for the Toka, for the seed, or for the small, and Tanayaya for the spreading, for the conception in the future of this divinity, or evolution of consciousness, continuing through the genome, being modifying these manifestations, making them more and more suitable for the divine. interesting. Ile is used word like Agni Mile here also. Raye Mitra Varuna Sarvatata Ile Tokaya Tanayaya Shamyo. I seek with adoration for the sake of procreation in the future of the divinity. For the felicity and for the creation and the begetting. That's how she appended this. Okay, I will take one more, and there are only four, so we will finish the hymn. There will be only for you to read the passages which will reconfirm these divisions from the supermind, triple supermind, overmind, and lower. Ya dhartara rajaso rochanasya utaditya divya parthivasya navam deva amrita aminanti vratani mitra varuna daruvani. Because you are the upholders of the luminous sphere and the mid-world and the luminous sphere of the earth, O divine sons of infinity, O Mitra and Varuna, the immortal gods impair not your workings. The immortal gods impair not your workings, which are firm forever. Now, this is something interesting, that the gods do not even diminish their workings of Mitra and Varuna as the highest Adityas, as the action of Aditi. They do not really modify them, it seems. Though Sri Aurobindo was describing that filtering, yes, is taking place through those realms of the gods. But here in this verse he says that they are not modifying, and they are firm forever. Now, there is a footnote, that is, in the ordinary workings of life plane and material plane, because they are unillumined, full of ignorance and defect, the law of our divine and infinite being is impaired or spoiled, works under restrictions and with perversions. It manifests fully, steadfastly, and faultlessly only when the ideal supramental truth plane is upheld in us by the pure wideness and harmony of Varuna and Mitra, and takes up the vital and physical consciousness into its own power and light. Now, this is where I will stop. I don't think I don't think anyone in the world looks into that direction. That such thing is even available. There is a taboo somewhere in the mind. This is closed topic. Yes, it's kind of unthinkable, and not doable, and forget about this. There's so much to do here. Yes, with what we want to do. And here the description and the vision of such, I don't know, vastness, and suddenly you feel you are not for nothing here, not just to satisfy your senses and to be happy that today there was a good day, there was no trouble. Any thoughts? I think even our group will shrink slowly to a few of us at the end. Yes, Maya.
I liked especially number 3 today. If I remember correctly, in the dawn they called to Mother Aditi, and then in the midday the growing illumination, and then the rising sun. At the end is the creation and the begetting of the sun, like of Aditi, which is the supramen, which to me was like the supramental man, or the new creation, or the new species. So in just that one verse, it was the whole continuous journey of the divine working in man. And it also reminded me a lot of Sri Aurobindo's poem Ahana, where they invoke the dawn or Mother Aditi to descend, but in gradual stages. At first, it's just the dawning, then later in the morning, there is the greater illumination and more people call to her, maybe reflecting the other parts of the being, not just the mind. And then there is the creation at the end when she actually comes down.
Yeah. Yes, this is all integral yoga in one verse, absolutely, all right. In the dawn, I call to the Divine Mother Infinite. That's what we have to do. That's all our yoga, yes, to call Mother Infinite. And in the midday also, and in the rising of the sun, of course. Even when the rising of the sun means when there will be already beginning of the supramental manifestation, even then we call to the Mother Infinite. Because the rising of the supermind is actually her own action. It is her sun, her Aditya, yes, her faculty. I desire Mitra and Varuna as the highest ones. I desire of Mitra and Varuna the peace and the movement in the forming of the all. What a beautiful this. For felicity, forming of the all for felicity. The purity of the divine being and the luminosity of the divine consciousness are invoked for forming of the all for their felicity, for their bliss, and for the creation, making things work as the divine, and for the begetting of the Son, manifestation of the Supreme. Yeah, the whole. Yes, Angela.
Yeah, I was thinking of these Dishanas are also kind of related to bowls or soma bowls or whatever holding retas. So I was thinking of this, three savanas of sacrifice, and then we have pratar and madhyam dina, which seem to relate to at least two parts of those three savanas. But I'm wondering, what do you think? Because if we take pratar as dawn, and then we have midday, and then it's like, and then the rising of the sun, just going back to the dawn. So it doesn't fit like the three
Doesn't go to the evening
framework. And I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, and why these if these are three different things, why dawn to midday back to dawn?
Yes, but you see, we invoke Aditi. I invoke Aditi again and again, Johavimi. This is the intensive, yeah, so the frequentative, we call it. I call to Aditi again and again, to the goddess Aditi in the morning, in the midday. Why in the midday? How can you call in the midday to Aditi if she is the dawn? Yeah? So it is not like this. I'm calling to the mother in the morning and the daytime and in the rising of the sun. So they don't do these three oblations of soma like morning and midday and evening. Yes, there is no evening, it seems, here mentioned, at least. Maybe they don't want to go to the evening again. Maybe they want to go only to the rising of the sun, and with that it is ended. Yeah? But interesting, Madhyandina is put in the before the rising of the sun. And it's kind of, yeah, funny. And what you said about the location of these, yes, soma, as Shubindra translates as three thoughts, and it could be the Dihishana soma vessel, yes. I think this is soma vessel and all that is interpretation which has to make some sense ritualistically, yes. So there is a holder, and then you put soma into it, and there are three these. But that is the ritualistic kind of mapping of something which is psychologically there. So the carrier will be the thought. The thought or that formation mental will be the carrier of that conception, yeah? Coming from the Supreme. Thought will carry it in a way. That's why Shubindu went for this, the three thoughts. rather than 3 carriers of Soma. But yes, 3 times mentioned in the second one, and instead of maybe, I can't understand also. If we try to map on the day, but most probably this is about divine manifestation. That's why there is no evening, only midday, and the rising of the sun after midday. Can you imagine that? The midday and then the sun is finally rising.
Maybe it's the next day, the rising of the sun in the next day.
Oh, possible. We skipped the night, kind of. So you start with the dawn, then day, and then the rising of the sun. There is something about this, what you said, something interesting. The dawn is the Divine Mother who comes to this creation to make it work. And she works through, or creates the day for us, yes? She is the day maker, so to say. Ahana, as you said. Ahana is the day maker. And she also has a sister, twin sister, which is kind of implied that she's also working with her, making of the day, of the dawn. Without her dark sister, the dawn would be impossible, yes? We need the tapestry on which the dawn will be working, or the background. And so, in a way, and then rising of the sun, because she worked out this midday and her sister kind of support of darkness, and achieved that middle day refreshment of all the beings fallen into the darkness, that they come to the fulfillment in themselves, then the rising of the sun is possible. You see, I'm rereading it with your suggestion. Possible that her sister night is simply implied, inbuilt in Aditya's Diti. You remove A and you will have Diti. She's there already. Right. These are marvelous creations of the rishis. They're loaded with deep meaning, and that would be hidden from us forever if Sri Aurobindo would not come forward with his yoga and say that it makes sense, finally.
And just out of curiosity, the golden lid in the first verse, which we hear about so much, when Mother then struck the door of the golden door in 1956, does this mean that the golden lid no longer acts as a separation, or it's what? How does it affect that?
Most probably, yes, you're right. It is not being sealed again. It remains open, broken, so to say. But they speak about this breaking in Upanishads also, yeah, Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasyapehitam Mukham. Tattvam Pushan. Pushan has to do it. Apavreno Satyadharmaya Drishtaye. But it seems that, well, Mother worked for the whole, for the humanity, and she broke that lid for humanity, not for individual breaking through the lid. It seems that it is of that universal significance more than what we have. Maybe Upanishad also speaks the same. They want to open this, yes? For Satya Dharmaya Drishtaya, for the seeing of the true Dharma. Yes, Dipti. Dipti has many ideas, most probably.
Yeah, as usual, but I'll try to keep it short. It's interesting you mentioned about chakras today, and in the first line that you read, the Rishi's name had chakra. Can you go back to that part where it said Chakra Atreya?
Chakri, yes, yeah.
Chakri Atreya. So I was wondering if there is a connection that the Rishi actually put it there and then you spoke about the
Yeah, Uru
chakras.
Chakri. Chakri, no, chakras are not spoken in the Veda. You will not find the word chakra in tantric sense in the Veda. Chakra is the term coined later. Um, and
Mm.
chakri is from root kri, to do, yeah, chakre, chakara, chakratu, chakraho. This is a reduplicated form of kri, to do, making
So
vast.
Chakravarti would come from that, the king who does for the...
No, that is already later language. Chakra is already this lightning, Vajra. Huh?
Okay.
Chakravartin, the one who is, it's the name of Vishnu or Indra. So this is very ancient language. It's kind of thousands of years before the language we use in, in post-Vedic period. And in that sense, there are no chakras here. There are no many things. There is no mukti mentioned. So, because mukti is
Yeah,
quite
I was kind of reflecting on that also, that there is no karma mentioned, no samskaras mentioned.
no sanskaras. There is no such idea even, because it's not needed. Karma is the action of the sacrifice. That's how they view karma. That means you take and do it as sacrificial action. That means you charge everything what you do with consciousness. That's what we call karma yoga for our Yes?
Mm.
Take work and do it as yoga. That means that's karma for us. And later karma is the consequences of your wrongdoings or good doings, like reward and punishment, which is kind of derivatory meaning. Yes, it developed slowly into that and took the central part of it, as if that is all about karma. It is not all.
Mm.
It's of course, if you do the sacrifice, then the karma does not stick to man. Yes, the Isha says,
Mm-hmm.
Kurvan neve karmani, doing he verily works. Yes. There's
I had one more reflection, sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
from the last class, what you were talking about, the four godheads, Mitra, Varuna, Aryaman, and Bhaga. It's almost like what we were discussing now. The divine love is not mentioned, but when I look back on the presumption, it's like there's a string of pearls and the thread is love, and these 4 or 5 gods or 7 gods are the pearls. And when we increase love, we increase vastness, and vice versa. We increase harmony, and vice versa. Tapas becomes a sunlit path, and Ananda increases. So I was wondering why they're not talking directly about love and why they want us to kind of deduce that. Whereas in the later part, when Bhakti Yoga started, love and divine love and unconditional love is given so much prominence, and even in integral yoga, psychic love is given so much prominence. So I would want to know your comments on this.
We spoke about this before, that psychic development took time, yes, later. It's a later development in esoteric history of man. And even Satprem asks about this. Mother said that there is, she asked, was there psychic being in the Rig Veda? And she says, did the rishis know about psychic being? And she says, no, they didn't, but they discovered it. So there is a discovery of psychic being which took place later because it had to be formed. Psychic being is a spark of the divine in the heart. It was known throughout, but to develop it into the being and to make it active it comes later. In Bhakti movement in India, it is totally there already. Yes, but before you will not find it much in Upanishads. It is here and there, yes. Ramayana was the first which spoke about love, like extensively, openly, like love of the father to Rama and Sita to Rama and all these love stories, brothers, Lakshmana, all this intense love, which was not there before. Upanishads do not build on it or or the Rig Veda is speaking differently about it, like ile, this word. I seek with adoration, I aspire. There is a purer movement of love. There's rather the flame of the divine love than just that mixed sense of love, which we get slowly with psychic development, by the way. The more psychic is developed and comes to the front, more and more takes charge of mental and vital, we kind of charges them with its light, the more we speak about love, yeah, mixing it into the vital desire and so on. That's what happened. And love becomes predominant thing then. But before it was more divine love, pure in the heart, that ile, I seek with adoration, yes? To seek with adoration, to aspire for. And by the way, in the Veda they speak about Agni in two different forms. Priyaha, or Idiach, beloved, or sought with adoration, and Yajatra, or Yajata, worthy of sacrifice. So that sacrifice transformational part of Agni, which is transforming nature, and that which is rising from below, Kundalini Shakti, yes, Shiva Lingam, this is that power which upholds the whole nature, pushes it towards the evolution of the species forms. And there is flame in the heart, Priya, beloved one. Yeah? And that is something altogether different. And between these two fires, there is an abyss, Mother says, between the sexual drive, yeah, which is in nature. Sexual drive is that very love, yeah? Karma, after all. And between the love and love in the heart, flame, pure flame towards the divine, Mother says there is an abyss. They are not, they can be reconciled only with supramental manifestation, these two flames. And that's why in Puranas we have these two great sources of these two flames. One is Shiva, Shiva Lingam, and Vishnu, who is that Antaryamin, flame in the heart, actually. These two are fighting for thousands of years. And why they are fighting? Because they are fighting in the esoteric history of man. Who will dominate? What power? The asceticism, yes, asceticism from below with this rising of Kundalini Shakti, control of the sexual impulse, or love of from the heart, yes. It's amazing if you think of it, why Shiva and Vishnu are fighting for thousands of years and nobody can win. And then they are tired and they say, okay, let's stop this fight. Because nobody can predominate. These two centers are important for the development of the divine on earth in a human being. Yeah? One is this impulse which is developing, pushing the all nature to develop and grow. Genome, genetic code, we pass through regenerating and begetting children. And the other is this development of our own soul growing through this process. These two simultaneous paths are needed for manifesting the divine. That's why nobody can conquer the other. Both of them are here and they build the contradiction of our psychology. Okay? We are always fighting with one or the other. Once we are going for this and totally give ourselves to sexual impulse, we lose the flame in the heart. We go to the flame in the heart, that disappears. We cannot reconcile between these two psychologies until the supramental manifestation. Yes, Maya.
So are you saying that the psychic being itself was an evolutionary part of nature, that our early ancestors, like the Vedic rishis, didn't have an individualized psychic that could come to the front and lead the yoga? It was just the flame and the psychic hadn't yet organized itself?
No, when they discovered it, the whole ancient yoga was built on the Bhargavas, these ancient rishis. There are Bhargavas and Angiras rishis. Angiras are new rishis. Yeah, that's what it is. I spoke about this not once, most probably. These two types of rishis, and Angiras rishis bring new gods like Indra. Interesting, that lightning from above reaching here. Everything which comes from above, in that sense, started to work for the heart more than for the whole nature. But originally, these Bhargavas, they were Soma Yagins. Yes, they were doing Soma Yagas, oblation of the delight of existence into the very energy of tapasya, of the growing effort in nature. By the means of nature, you modify nature. Yeah? You kindle that flame in nature and start feeding it with the essential delight of existence, which you extract and you grow in capacity. That's what usually people grow in capacity with. We are doing still this tapasya first, yeah, generation of yagas. But now it changed. We see the shift from one type to another in many religions. I spoke about this, yes? Like Abraham, for example, when he wanted to sacrifice his son to the god, the old type of sacrifice, yeah, sacrifice your nature, body. And he hears the voice, give me the lamb, I don't need the body of your son. Lamb pure. Pure lamb is the psychic love. You don't need to give me your nature. Bring me your love from the heart. This was the considerable shift in the esoteric history. You know? Considerable, very big shift, which is fixed everywhere in the Rig Veda also. So the old gods who were acting upon nature became kind of asuras, yeah? Old generation, so to say, with Shukracharya teaching them how to continue. Interesting. And Brihaspati is a new god of Angiras. He is Angiras, yes, born recently from the heart. His location is in the heart. So you see this picture. Once you start looking deeper, you will see what happened on the scale of time, you know, and why these contradictions. And it's not immediately visible, but with certain kind of attention to detail, we can discover this. Yes, Deepti.
Just two quick things about what you said. One is Shiva is also love. Like there is a text called Tirumandiram in the Shaiva Siddhantam in Tamil Nadu, where it's called Anbe Shivam. You know, Shiva is love. So I just want to comment on that. The second thing is I saw a lot of similarities between what you spoke today in the verses and what we discussed in the Savitri class on Monday. The milking of the cows by the daughter, and here milking through the Prakriti, and the Kanchana body of the Devakanya, and the golden light here. So I see a lot of similarities between that and this. I just wanted to mention that.
Sure. Great. Yeah, well, of course, even love appears even in austere Buddhism, you know, because you cannot live without love. The psychic develops, and so you start modifying your philosophy, your religion, and that's what compassion. You introduce many things even to Shiva. Though Shiva was never a child, did you notice that he was never born? He was always the Rudra of the Veda, the most austere and the most severe Godhead. Sri Aurobindo says if someone we have to be afraid of the gods, that would be Rudra. Rudra is the most dangerous one because he can smash you not only your sins, but also everything good you have in your soul. Yeah? So it's a great power arising from below, pushing the whole, he holds on his shoulders the whole nature. Yes? Agni is his sun rising from the depth of inconscient. Can you imagine that? That is Shivalingam. That is that movement upward, infinite movement upward of the divinity. That is Shiva. Yeah. But then there is something happening in the history, and there is this spark, individualized being, not this universal movement of, is being formed and developed into the being. That's what happened. Yes, Maya.
Sorry, just one last thing. In Greek mythology, there was the age of Titans, the original race of immortals. And then Prometheus is like a traitor. He's a Titan, but he gifts mankind a spark, not like the flame, but it comes from heaven. It's something that doesn't exist on earth.
Yeah,
So
he
when they
brought
say Prometheus
Agni.
gave fire, yeah.
Yes, he kindled the flame. Yes, he brought that which was forbidden to be brought down. That because individualization will take place. Absolutely, yes, Prometheus. Absolutely, yeah. Once we start viewing this from this perspective, we will see many absolutely interesting things and insights from other religions and from Indian also. What happened later, yes. So these two energy sources, yes, we have. One is calling from the heart, other is calling from nature. Two callings for descent. And descent happens from both callings. If we can call from nature, we will receive those, yes, and they will start changing. But from the heart, it is much more effective, it seems. And yeah. Okay. Thank you all and see you next time. Namaste.